Greetings, beloved brothers and sisters. This dear one was reflecting on all of the years since 1982. He has been working with couples and relationships. It's almost standard that if you let a session start with a couple and ask them what the problem is, very quickly one or the other will say, the problem is her, or the problem is him. And it's not always spoken, but there's an agenda underneath of that in which this person is hoping that the therapist will agree with them and then get the other person to see what they've been saying is true and get the other person to be different so that peace can be restored to the relationship and happiness could ensue. While understandable, the premise is so erroneous, you really can't get there from there. And sometimes it sounds so legitimate. A person will say, you have to get her to understand that when she is always late, it messes everything up. And people are upset, and we get to the restaurant late, and she's never on time. You've got to get her to see. And then if you look at the woman who he's talking about, she gives you a shrug like, even if she agrees, nothing's going to change because the premise is wrong. And this is life's premise when you come from your ego, that if things were different, I'd be happier. If I could just get things to look the way I think they should look, then I'd be happy. Can you help me do that? The answer is no, no. There is no love in that. There's only circumstances and conditions and ultimatums and threats. And love is something completely different. The strongest relationship is one where you don't need the person to be different than the way they are. As a matter of fact, you don't need anything. You just love them. And you love the way they are. And the things that are annoying over time become endearing, idiosyncratic perhaps, but just part of life. And ultimately, they become cherished. There's an old song called My Funny Valentine. And part of the lyrics are, don't change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. That's love. If you examine the premise under which you think happiness comes to you, you'll see that it is quite flawed if it requires something outside of you to change first. What has to change is your perspective. That's where the miracle takes place. That's what has to change. Your willingness to have life be exactly as it is, and then feel what that feels like with acceptance and compassion and forgiveness. And the miracle is that if you're willing to do that, because love is the only thing that's real, out of love, the other person just might change in the direction you'd like them to change in. not because they finally agree with you, not because they see the merit of your argument, but because they love you and would love to please you, and pleasing you would please them to no end. It all feels effortless when it's propelled by love. And when change is brought about by ego, it feels like pushing a boulder up a hill. And as soon as you stop pushing, the boulder rolls back to the valley, and you're right back where you were. Beware of the tyranny of being right, and choose happiness instead. Starts with a willingness to see what's in front of you, as aspects of yourself that need your love and forgiveness and acceptance and compassion. That's what this person is manifesting. The part of you that's unhealed, that begs for love. Give that love with everything you have. And watch as transformation takes place. Struggle will be replaced by ease. Conflict is replaced by peace. But it's all happening inside of you first, before you'll see it on the outside. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.